Okay, so today we're going to look at the Graphics in Design and Communication book, the page 17, the higher level stuff for the orthographic and auxiliary projection, this tetrahedron question down the bottom, okay? So I'm just going to throw it up here first on the screen because there's a few little things that we need to spot from the question, okay? So we've already learned now about true lengths, right? So what different lines look like in different views in order to make true lengths, okay? So the first thing we need to look for is their true lengths in any of these two views, the elevation and the plan, right? And there's a number of true lengths, okay? So this point here is seen as a point of view. It's represented by this line down in plan. So we know from today that when a point of view in elevation, its corresponding line in plan is a true length. So that is a true length there, okay? Because all of the base of the tetrahedron is on the xy line or parallel to the xy line, all the lines around the tetrahedron in plan are true lengths, okay? Tells us the length side there is 75 millimeters, so them three sides are 75 millimeters. So that's kind of the first thing really that's going to help us to start solving the problem, right? The next thing as well, right, I might as well show you while I have the book here while I'll be talking about it later, okay? So if we look here, from this point to the apex in the tetrahedron, right? So if we find that now in elevation, it's from here up to the apex, okay? What do we know about that? Well, it's level in one view, it's parallel to the xy line in plan. So from here, parallel with the xy line in plan, meaning its corresponding length here in elevation is a true length as well, 75 millimeters as well, okay? I'll just deal with that bit for a second. There's more information as well in the drawing that we can find out. We'll just deal with that for a second to help us construct it, okay? So, first things first, I'm going to set up my xy line. I'm going to draw my tetrahedron, or as much as possible of it, in my plan. So, my colors. X, Y, and I'm going to start in the plan. That line straight down that we said is the true length line. Put my line straight down. And that line, as we said, is a true length line, so I can mark my distance on that line, which is 75 millimeters. Now remember I said that all the base of the tetrahedron is on the xy line, so that means that the sides of it are parallel to the xy line. So I can now set 75 to my compass, because if they're parallel in one view, up here, they're true lengths down here. So I have my compass set to 75, I can swing it here, where they intersect is the far out corner of the base of the tetrahedron. So that's that little portion I found. I can now bring these points straight up to elevation, and I have at least how wide the bottom of the tetrahedron is. So somewhere up here, this is the top bit, okay? Now, the next thing we know is the center, or the apex, is going to be somewhere along this line here. So I can draw this in plan here lightly. My apex now is somewhere along this line here, okay? A tetrahedron is equilateral triangles, okay? It's three equilateral triangles. So what I can do in this corner here is bisect the angle in this here, draw it down through it until I find my apex on this line running through. Okay, so that's the next thing I'm going to do. So I'm going to bisect the angle, right? So set my compass to any distance, swing an arc, keep the same distance on the compass, swing it from that point, swing it there, and where that little X is, join straight out through the shape to find that there, okay? So that now is my apex. We often call in graphics apex O, okay? I'm going to call that O, and I'm going to find it up there, I'm going to call it O as well, okay? So, I have my two start points. I can now bring up my apex. It's up there, somewhere along there, okay? if you remember back to the question, I said that from this point to this point is a level line, meaning it's a true length in the other view, right? So I have this point, I know what distance it needs to be, I know the line extends on up here somewhere, so I'm going to be able to find that easily, right? So I set my compass once again to 75, the true length line, true length size of the side, 75. I have my point here found in elevation. I know it's along this line it's hitting somewhere, so I can just scribe my arc until I hit that line. Join these back down. And that's our tetrahedron found. Okay? Now the next thing to do is to find in our cut surface part of it. Okay? The cut surface part, it's given to you in the book. So it's 16 millimeters back from this corner here. There. It is 25 from this corner. And then it tells us it's up 54 here. So I can measure my 54 up here. And my line straight across to hit my side. Where that hits the side, bring it straight down to that center line. And there we go. Okay. So I can now join in my cut. Don't forget your dotted lines, just to show that it's cut there. Now I can bring these back up to my elevation view. So this cuts the ground here, this cuts the ground here, and they all get joined to this top point, so it goes. And back down the way there. So that is my shape. I'm going to do a dotted line here as well where the cut is, just so you can see what it would look like before the cut. Okay. So they want us now to get a true shape of this cut surface. So this is the surface in elevation, and this is the surface in plan. Okay. Now, it's vital for graphics, okay, that you number, label, index, whatever you want to do, but just once that you can denote stuff from each other, okay? So I'm going to follow the same labeling here for the cut surface as the book, okay? So they have this point 1, they have this point 2, they have this point 3. So find them in plan now. So bring it straight down here. So that's 1, that's 2, and 3 is there. Perfect. So we have the plan and elevation drawn of the tetrahedron with the cut. Yeah. Now I have to go about this true shape part, right? So I have to find the true shape of the cut surface. So if we go back here to the book, right, and forget about all this for a second. So first of all, for that true shape, we're going to have to find a true length line in the cut shape. Okay. Now, without making hardship on ourselves, is there any true length line already in one of these views? Yeah. So the answer to that is yes, because if you look here between point 1 and 2, it's parallel with the XY line. It's actually on the XY line, but it's also parallel, meaning 1 and 2 here in plan is a true length view. So because of that, I can set up my X1, Y1 perpendicular to that true length line to get the view down here of an edge. So we're getting the edge viewed in of the cut, right? So that's basically what we always want to do first. So I have the cut. I have a true length in one view, and now I want to get an edge of the cut view. Okay, I want to look at that cut as an edge. So I have my true length there. I'm going to set up my X1, Y1 perpendicular to that true length line. So that's Y1, X1. Okay. Now, take your time bringing your points, okay? what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to put more labels in here. Okay, so if I call, so this is just jumping between plan and elevation. So if this point here is A, this point is B. Up here we have point A, B. My apex is O, so I'm going to call that O up there again. And if I call this point C, it's C here as well. So I find the best way to do these is to draw out the tetrahedron as if it's not cut first, then bring up my cut lines, and I'll get the cut as an edge view. Okay, so bring down these lines. So I'm going to bring down C, B, A. Okay, so I'm going back one view, two view, so I get my heights from my elevation, because this is an auxiliary elevation. I get my height off of elevation. A, B, C is all on the ground. Lovely. Don't have to do anything with my compass. So B is there, A is there, C is there. Now I'm going to bring down my apex O. Bring down our apex O. Okay. Now we can get our heights off of our elevations. Off our elevation. That's my height of O. So this now is the position of O in that auxiliary elevation. That's it there. O. Okay. Next thing now I'm going to join my points. Okay, so I'm going to make in the tetrahedron basically, right? So it goes B to O, A to O, C to O. This is still light now. Okay. Now I can bring up my cuts, right? So point 1 cuts the line AC. So AC is there. So I'm going to bring it up until it cuts AC, which is there. So that now is point 1 found. Point 2 cuts BC, which is in the exact same place there. 2. And then it all goes up to OC, which is this line. And it gets cut right there. So that's 3. So I can now join. I'll do it in dark. So this is the cut here as an edge view. There we go. Then our tetrahedron extends on up. Extends on up. We've our dotted lines there, they are hidden. So that's hidden. And then I'll just do in the dotted here is where the tetrahedron would be before we cut it, okay? So that line there now, right? So if I have a colour here now to do it. That line right there, that's an edge view of cut surface. Okay, so that's an edge view of the cut surface, right? So we're very nearly finished now with this question, right? It's not difficult. So we had our plans, elevations. The biggest thing really is just knowing what a true length line is in each view, okay? The next thing now I'm going to do is I'm going to set up an x2, y2, and I'm going to set this up parallel to my edge view of my cut surface, and that's going to give me the true shape of the cut surface, okay? So I'm going to set up x2, y2. I'm going to set it up here. y2, x2. And I'm going to follow the same process here now again, carrying up my points, okay? So I'm going to start with the main kind of area of the tetrahedron. So I'm going to bring up A, B, C first. So A, C, B. So that's A, C, B there, okay? So I'm going back 2 views. So 1 view, 2 view. So I'm going to be getting from my distance from here, x1, y1, back to the plan. Okay, so B is a nice distance away. That's B. Follow up B. It's up here. So I'm going to have to extend on my point B there just to hit my mark. That's B. Write it in. C, this distance away. C comes up here, I'm going to have to extend C as well. That's C. And A. Finishes there. So that's A, B, C. Now I'm going to bring my apex, my O. Apex goes up there. And the apex is this distance away. Remember, we're going back. 1 view, 2 view. That's my point O. And I'm going to join in these lightly, okay? Just so I know some kind of what's going on. There we go. So they all go to A, B, O. Okay. So now I'm going to bring up my cut surface, okay? So point 1 and 2. So point 1 cuts AC. So I'm going to bring this up until it cuts AC, which is there. So that's point 1 right there now. 1. And point 2 cuts CB, which is up there, just a bit higher. That's point 2. Now I'm going to bring up where it cuts point OC. So it cuts OC up here in my auxiliary elevation. So I have to bring this straight up now again. OC. And it cuts OC, which will be joining down there. Okay, so bring this straight up. And then join O to C. And where it gets cut by that line right there is my point 3. So 1 gets joined to 2, 2 gets joined to 3, and 3 gets joined back down to 1. Yeah. Now we can just finish off our tetrahedron, right? So A to B dotted because we're not seeing that information. B to O is a full line. Down to here is a full line. Then it goes to our cut, the start of the cut. And then this small little bit of C here, then that's dotted there. Small little dot there, and then that's solid there. Okay? Where I'm going to shade in here now, line in. That shaded part is the true shape of the cut surface that is the question answered. Okay? So really just working through your views. It looks there now when we've finished that there's a load of information going on, but there's not really, okay? Just the main thing we need to know is our level lines and what they look like. Okay, so I'll do a little sketch over here of that again, okay? So remember, if a line is a point view, is a point in one of the views, its corresponding view is a true length. So that's a true length there now, because it's the point view there. If a line is parallel with the XY line, its corresponding line is also a true length. Okay, so if you have A, B here, A, B, this is now a true length because it's parallel with the XY line in elevation. Okay, So if you have a point of view in either plane or elevation, its corresponding view is a true length. If you have a level line, what I mean by level, I mean parallel to the XY line in either plane or elevation, its corresponding line is a true length. Okay, it's important that we know that. That's kind of the basics for that question, right? So if we had that information, if you knew that information, if you could spot that information, the question made itself a lot easier.